Welcome to the Mindspo Podcast. My name's Rochelle Fox. I am your host, and in today's episode, I just wanted to chill. No, I mean that seriously. I had such a big day today, and I feel like today is the first working day for me of 2025. Sheesh. It feels so weird saying 2025. I don't know about you. I feel like it always takes me a month to actually start saying the right year. I've been saying 2024 for the last 4 days. And today is the first day that I'm like, okay, that's it. We're in 2025. It's a new year. We're in this new energy. And this is the day, January 5th, 2025. This is the day for me that I feel I really stepped into the work year for this year. I have been working over the holidays. I have my book Magnetic coming out on the 16th of January. So as much as I would have liked to just check out for the holidays and had a complete off break, that wasn't really possible with my book schedule. I really needed to show up and make some things happen. But I have been trying to take it on a little bit more of a light work mode over the holidays so I don't burn myself out. But today, the work year officially started for me. And when I thought about the work year this year, I really thought about this podcast because you may or may not have known, but in 2024, I actually stopped recording this podcast altogether. I did it in a really bad way as well. I feel like I owe you an apology for that if you're listening, if you're an old listener, because I literally did my book announcement announcing that I was writing a book and I'm so excited and this is my big announcement. And then I just ghosted the podcast for a whole entire year. I just stopped posting. I just went offline. And I really needed to do that in order to write my book. That was, it was a non-negotiable for me for my first book. And I don't think I realized it when I did that announcement and that podcast. It only ever kind of came to me after I did that announcement podcast that, hang on a second, I can't do both these things at once. I can't pour all of my creative energy into spoken word content and show up here every single week, as well as go in and pour all of my energy into my written word and to really, honestly, step into and create this new writer inside of me that was looking to be born, that was looking to be shaped. I had to kind of choose between the two. And if I write a second book, which I definitely am going to, or when I write the second book, I definitely feel I'll be able to do both. But for the first book, I had to check out. The reason I mention that is when I think about 2024, I stepped back from podcasts, from communicating, from being a guest on other people's podcasts. I think it was really my cocoon year. It was a year that I went inward. And I feel like this is like a collective thing. I don't know if you had the same experience, but so many people I know had such an inward year for 2024. It was just such a year of going within and working things out and doing deep healing work and letting go of things and restructuring things. And for me personally, I feel like 2025 for so many of us is going to be our butterfly year. It's going to be the year that we come out of our cocoons, that we come out of the darkness, we come out of that shell, and we're really going to spread our wings and fly. And that's what I'm feeling this year. And in 2025, my intention is that this podcast is going to be such a big part of my year. I have missed speaking on this podcast. I've missed connecting with you. I've missed having conversations with guests. And as I start this year, I wanted to start my work year with you, hanging out with you and talking about how we're going to be able to make 2025 the year that we really desire it to be, the year that we have the intention for it to be. And one of the things that came to me when I thought about starting the year is it reminded me of this very familiar feeling of pressure. I don't know about you, but I always have this sense of pressure when I set a big goal or I do a lot of planning and I start a new project. Pressure is something that generally comes with that for me. And it's a familiar feeling that I'm like, oh, okay, here you are, old friend, that butterflies in my chest, that rising heartbeat, that really overwhelmed feeling in my head. That for me is pressure. And I've become a lot better at dealing with pressure and sort of alchemizing it. But a few years ago, I really struggled with the concept of pressure. And whenever I was starting something new or I was stepping into a new year, I felt this kind of rat race mentality where it felt like I had to do everything right here, right now. And I felt this pressure to have it all figured out and also to get everything done. And it's funny because you can set a big goal or you can have an intention for a year. And a year is, a long time, but also a short time. It's a 365-day marathon. But often when we set ourselves out to do something, the minute we set it, we can feel like we're in a sprint. Even though there is no sprinting and we're not racing against anyone, there's something about setting that goal that makes us feel like we've got to start showing up, we've got to start hustling, we've got to change everything, we've got to make moves. And when we get into that sprinting mentality, for me, it often feels like it actually decreases my ability to be productive. And it actually can slow me down because rather than being in that grounded, slow, present, calm energy, that peace that I'm able to access, I instead get into this hyperspeed and I'm trying to make it all happen. And that hyperspeed energy, although it's very familiar to me because I spent a lot of my life in hyperspeed, I know that that's actually not where I do my best work. And I think writing my book over the last year really taught me that. Because when I first got my book deal, for example, I thought I was going to be podcasting and doing all the things and going on other people's podcasts. I thought I'd be posting on TikTok all the time. I thought I was going to be doing regular YouTube videos. And that was the hyperspeed version of me, that version of me that was in hustle, that thought I'm going to do all the things and just like give it my all and go full speed. But instead, I realized I had to pull it back and I actually had to step into a very different energy, which if you've listened to my other podcasts, you would know was my becoming energy. 2024 was this chapter for me of doing less, but being more. I had to become really, really present with myself, with my work, with my mission in order to actually achieve all the things that I needed to achieve. And the reason I mention this is because I have something that has really, really helped me, and it's something that I want to pass on to you. When you look at your day and when you look at all the things that you need to get done, I want you to zoom into the day that you have right now, the day that you're living. And as you zoom into this day that you're currently living, I want to challenge you to ask yourself, what would make today a success? What can I do today that would just make today successful? Not all the things that I can get done this week or all the things that I can get done in the month or all the things that have to get done in order for this project to get from here to here. No, none of that. Just today. What is one thing that you could do today that could move the needle forward and get you closer to whatever it is that you are wanting to get closer to? And when you break things down and you start looking at things not from the macro but more on a micro scale, you're going to step out of that overwhelm. Because when you look at a list of things that you need to do in order to achieve a project or get something done, you're not usually going to get all of those things done in a day. Most of us have dreams and goals and aspirations that are going to take weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years. And of course, there's quantum leaps and you can collapse timelines and make it all happen faster than ever before. But there are some things that are going to happen in divine time and they're not under your control. And there are other things that are going to take time and they're going to take a lot of energy and commitment. Point being, writing a book. You can't quantum leap. As much as I believe in quantum leaps, I would love to know if someone's ever quantum leaped into writing a book. I don't think you can have the idea of writing a book and then wake up the next day and it's written. Maybe in some other universal timeline, but in this world, that's probably going to take you 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20 months, like 2 years. It can take a substantial amount of time to do some of the things that are most meaningful to you. And also some of the things that are projects or things that you want to create in your life, they're not just things that you do once. They're things that you need to continue to keep doing. For example, a podcast. I am not just going to record 5 podcasts in my life and be like, that's it, I'm a success, I've achieved my podcasting goals. No, this is a multi-year, multi-month, really long commitment of continuing to show up on this podcast every single week and continuing to be here and have these conversations. And if I look at what I want to achieve in podcasting as this big, big vision, it can be really overwhelming. There's so many moving parts in order to get a podcast up and to produce episodes and to interview guests and make things happen. But instead, if I just look at it one day at a time and I ask myself, well, what can I do today for the podcast? Case in point, today I could just record an episode. I know that this year I really want to be posting a lot more regularly on the podcast. I want to try and post twice a week when I can, have a solo episode, have a guest episode. So the thing that I could have done today to make today a success was pull out all of my equipment, set it up, it's 10 o'clock at night, and record a podcast. And that for me made today a success. Now, does that mean that I've achieved all my podcasting goals? No, there are so many things that I would like to do. And there's a huge list of things that I want to do to improve the podcast this year. But today, this was the one thing that was in my control that I could do to make today a success. And looking at things day by day and starting to ask yourself this question, what can I do today to make today a success? It's going to really allow you to control the controllables a little more. Now, you're not in control of everything in this life. There are things that are outside of your control, and in life, you've got to learn to roll with the punches. You've got to learn to surrender and let things flow. But at the same time, there's no denying that we love control as human beings. We feel our best when we are in some sense of control. This is why times like COVID stress people out so much, because we all lost so much control. So when you start to realize that you're going to feel more empowered, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to feel more in flow when you have more control, it's then that you realize that you have to start breaking things down and you have to learn to start controlling the controllables and surrender the rest. And the thing is, you have the most amount of control in this moment right here, right now, because in the present, that is where your power lies. It's in this moment that you are able to access all of your faculties. You're able to visualize, you're able to ruminate, you're able to do things with your hands, with your senses, you're able to make moves. You have all of your power right here in this present moment. This is where you have control. And so often when we get overwhelmed, when we get into this state of like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to do, there's so many things to achieve, I feel really overwhelmed, I feel just this pressure building up inside of me because I have all of these things that I want to do, but I don't feel like I can get them all done now. And how am I going to do this and this and this? Whew. When you're in that energy, you have no control because there are so many things that are variables. Your energy is scattered. You are just up in your head and you are sending all of your energy to all of these things all at once. Whereas instead, when you focus your energy, when you focus your attention, when you narrow things down and you look at your to-do list and you look at your goals and you look at all of the things that you need to get done, the list that you've written, and you say, what can I do to make today a success? What is one thing that I can focus on right here, right now, in the energy that I'm in, with the things that I have available to move the needle forward? That is when you're going to get your control back. That is when you're going to start making moves and making those small steps that are really those big steps towards whatever it is that you want to achieve in 2025. So if you want to make 2025 your best year and you want to make 2025 a success, start asking yourself what you can do each day to make the day a success, because a year is just a collection of days. And if we can start focusing not just on the big picture, but also zooming it in and taking it from the macro to the micro, and we start breaking it down and looking at things more step by step, you're going to feel less overwhelmed, you're going to feel more present, and you're going to actually start being able to enjoy the journey. And I got to tell you, as corny as it sounds, the journey is really the destination. How you are going to feel good about this year is having good days, making each day count, making each day a success and be something that you are proud of. And that doesn't mean that every single day needs to be productive. That doesn't mean that every single day you have to tick 10 things off the to-do list. What is it that you could do today that is just going to make today a little bit better, that is going to be good for your soul, for your mind, for your body, for your spirit? we have to really remove this idea that success is a label or a set of achievements or a set of awards or a follow account on Instagram or YouTube or a promotion or a car or any of these material things. Success is a feeling, right? Success is a feeling that you embody. You can achieve all of the things. You can get to the top of the mountain and you can have the Ferrari, you can have the Porsche, you can have the $1 million business, you can have the 8-figure business, you can have the family, whatever it is that you are manifesting. You can have all of those things and have success, but at the same time, you might not feel successful. You might not feel what it is that you actually really wanted to feel in getting those things. So ask yourself, how do you want to feel? What does success feel like? And what can you do today to move you closer to that feeling, to step into that feeling, to choose that feeling and embody that feeling as you make progress towards your dreams? It's a really interesting topic for me as I step into this new chapter for me, like writing a book, becoming an author, doing all the things that I've been doing at the moment. I've been in such an interesting journey of redefining success. And I'll definitely do a podcast all about that because I've completely redefined what success means to me and what success is to me over 2024. And I feel like I'm stepping into 2025 doing some really exciting things, but I'm feeling more present and calm and centered and just peaceful than ever. Don't feel this hyper speed, anxiety, go, go, go energy that I've had many times in my life. Instead, I've stepped into a much calmer, much more mindful, much more chilled version of myself. And it really has come from all of the work that I've done on my subconscious mind and all of the things that I'm going to be teaching in Magnetic, which, by the way, is out on January 16th. I still can't believe it. I want to mention, if you are listening to this before my book comes out on January 16th, you still have time to pre-order and enter my epic competition. So if you didn't know, I am running a competition for one lucky pre-order to basically win a ultimate prize pack. And this prize pack is wild. You get a spot for you and your best friend to come to my Cyprus retreat with Megan Rose Lane, our Empress retreat. And you basically get everything paid for. You get your flights paid for, your food paid for, you get luxury accommodation, you get a bougie week on me. Just by pre-ordering the book, you get to go in the running to win this. Such an incredible prize. And I wanted to do that instead of spending a whole bunch of money on ads on Instagram and doing all the marketing things. I was like, you know what? I really want to give back to my community. If you are going to go and pre-order my book and support me as a first-time author, I want to be able to give you the opportunity to come on the most beautiful, ultimate, incredible healing week. And not only that, you might not know this, but everyone that pre-orders before the cutoff date, you also get 6 months free access to my app. I just wanted to bring everyone together that orders Magnetic and take them on a journey to really start doing the work that is going to transform and change their lives. And for me, what we have on our app is just like the journey to doing that. It has all of the things that have been so impactful in my life, which has been vision board movies, meditations, visualizations. We're also going to have EFT coming to the app in 2025, which has been huge for me in 2024. And I thought, you know what? I just want to give everyone a beautiful gift to say thank you for pre-ordering the book. And that is 6 months free access to the app, which I think is an amazing deal just by pre-ordering. But that offer is going really, really soon. So you are running out of time to claim all of your pre-order bonuses. If you haven't already pre-ordered Magnetic, I'm going to have the links to do so down below in the description box. The app access starts in January. Once the pre-order period is done, it is over. So make sure you go and do your pre-order before January 16th so you can go into the running to win that incredible prize and also claim your access to the app, as well as some other incredible bonuses. I've created a community called the Magnetic Portal for everyone that pre-orders as well. And I'm just going to keep, doing as much as I can to say thank you to everyone that's supporting me on this beautiful ride of becoming a first-time author. Anyway, that is it from me. First solo podcast of 2025. Feels good to be on the mic. I cannot wait to see the conversations that we have on the Mindspo podcast this year. I am sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.